This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSPORT Fan Network. TalkSPORT. Powered by fans.
Styles with the save. To the second here. A classic counter-attack and Gibbs White puts Nottingham Forest 2 ahead. Here's one. 1-0 Forest. Has made an even bigger difference there. Nottingham Forest have snatched the lead at Anfield.
Hello, welcome back to Red Side of the Trent, here to discuss Forest 1-1 draw with Aston Villa after Murillo's own goal was cancelled out by a terrific strike by Nico Williams to give the Reds a 3-point buffer in the relegation fight to survive in the Premier League, also extending our run to 4 unbeaten games, which is quite delightful. 3 draws in there and a win. And I'm delighted to be joined by Reese Lane and Alex Oakes. Alex, how are you first of all?
Really good, thank you, mate.
Good. Reese, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Are you?
Yeah, good. Although, I mean, questionable weather today compared to Portugal, which we all three of us basked in the sun for Wednesday and Thursday watching Braga v Betis before Forest v Porto. So I didn't know what we could have wore all different outfits today, and all of them would have probably been fine at some point during the day, which I find baffling about the UK as normal. But we'll get into the game first of all. Alex, I'm going to start with yourself. A team I think we all pretty much predicted with Matt Sells coming back in, the 2 fullbacks of Nico Williams, Ola Aina, accompanied by Murillo and Milenkovic at the back, Sangare and Elliot Anderson returning after he missed midweek through suspension, with Morgan Gibbs White, Amari Hutchinson, Callum Hudson-Odoi supporting Igor Jesus. Were you happy with that lineup?
Yeah. There was no major surprises, was there? I think possibly Ortega could feel a little bit hard done by, but other than that, no major surprises. Thought the team was fine. Happy enough with it before kickoff.
Was you surprised Taiwo Wunyi wasn't on the bench, considering his recent heroics at Tottenham last week? I know Chris Wood has come back in and came off, started on Thursday, which was all surprised about, and then came on today. But I just feel like it was maybe a little bit harsh on Taiwo not making the bench at least.
Yeah, a little bit disappointed, but I don't think I was surprised. Not massively surprised, no. You sort of felt that Taiwo for the majority of the season is always going to be sort of the last resort, and obviously with Chris Wood coming back now, but I think what you said, I think it feels harsh on him because when he's played at the minute, you feel like he's the one that may grab something out of next to nothing, which is sort of what we're absolutely gagging for at the minute. But no, I wasn't surprised that he was left off the bench personally.
Fair enough. Reese, I thought the start of the game was good for us, actually. I thought we tested Aston Villa's back line quite early on. I thought we put a few good crosses in, had a few flurry of corners before the opening goal, which I felt like went a little bit against the run of play. I mean, what did you make of the opening exchanges?
I thought it was quite a tight game, mate. I wouldn't say either side was the better team. I thought both sides got into some good areas. Like you said, we put some good crosses in, we put some poor crosses in. I don't think either keeper really made a save until the first goal. But, the first goal, Hutchinson's positions in him is really bad, and he's just marking nobody. And then Rodgers sees that and runs off him. And then he's put a ball into an area where, we'll, as fans, you say, well, just put it into that good area and try and force a mistake, which he has, because Murillo's kind of not been able to sort his feet out and put it into his own net. So, yeah, it was just really disappointing. We went behind. You kind of felt, I thought, until we did get level, that as heads kind of dropped, and Villa could have easily have scored 1 or 2 more in that period. They had the one where Watkins, his heavy touch, Sells made the save, but he was onside there. I don't know why the flag went up, because he was about a yard onside. And then the one where Rodgers kind of hit the corner of the bar on the post, so they could have easily furthered their lead. But I guess it's just a sloppy goal from our perspective, because we're allowing, Murillo's turned it into his own net, and we're allowing a player as good as Morgan Rodgers, an England international, a free run into the box to smack a ball into our 6-yard box. So disappointing in that sense, but obviously good that we got ourselves back in the game, because if we could have, like I said, we could have easily been 2 or 3 down at that stage, really.
Did you ever think like the energy levels were a bit weird? I felt like both teams really struggled in that sense, more so us than Villa. I thought Villa picked some really good areas. John McGinn and Rodgers were getting on the ball in really nice pockets of space, which we weren't able to deal with. But I thought like Elliot Anderson and Ibrahim Sangare really struggled in there, particularly Anderson. I thought he wasn't his usual self. It was like the break had done him too much damage almost, weirdly.
Yeah, I thought we got a bit outnumbered in the midfield, because McGinn kind of plays to the right, doesn't he? But then you've got Morgan Rogers floating about, and they've also got Onana in there, who's absolutely huge and physical. Tielemans in there. Am I missing one more?
I don't believe so.
Barkley.
So, of course, yeah.
You've got some quality players in there who are all physical. So I just thought at times it was a bit outnumbered and outmuscled in there. And look, Villa are a very good side. Let's not take anything away from Aston Villa. They're chasing a Champions League place. I know they've got a tight squad and they played Thursday night, but they're a good, solid side. And I thought there was periods in the game where you could see that they just moved the ball a bit quicker than us. The flow of the passing movements was just better than us. But and that's why they're challenging for a Champions League place and the favourites to win the Europa League.
Definitely, Alex. I mean, it's been a tale of our spell under Vitor Pereira, where we've actually kind of galvanised in terms of team spirit, and it showed, because I thought the players' heads didn't drop too much, and we got ourselves back into the game, and a terrific strike from Nico Williams. I mean, I think he must have had our most shots today. Marco Bizot had to pull off some fairly good saves, and I think they pulled off a block later on from Nico. He was our most dangerous man, and it's some strike from him, I thought.
Yeah, he loves that shot on the edge of the box, doesn't he? He's done it since he played right back and continued that in left back. But yeah, I mean, it's a really well taken goal, and sort of the galvanised, the galvanising feeling almost feels a little bit going back to last season. It feels a bit familiar to what it was under Nuno, which I think is why we're sort of in the predicament that we are, that we haven't had that under the sort of 2 previous managers. We lost a bit of that team spirit, the cohesion with the fans in the club and the players on the pitch.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I mean, was you a bit disappointed of the lack of other chances that we created? We didn't really create too much, or we was dilly-dallying with it. Someone wouldn't pull a trigger. We was trying to play a pass that was almost too perfect, rather than just let's just have a go like Nico was doing. I felt like maybe that spell of like only scoring 1 goal in 99 shots or whatever it was on target. Is that played into the player's mind at home? Because away from home, it just seems to not be a thing.
Possibly, but it almost feels like we play with a little bit more freedom away from home. Sort of at home, it seems. I think it transcends from the fans. At home today, it felt like once we went 1-0 down, there was a bit of a nervousness, especially sort of resonating from the crowd. But it completely flipped when we got that goal. Like you say, the reluctance to take shots. Literally, 2 minutes before the goal, we were just pinging it about on the edge of their box, and we didn't create anything. I think Morgan had a chance to shoot. Sangare could have had a chance to shoot. Hudson-Odoi had one. They all had sort of the opportunity to get a shot off, and this was maybe 2 minutes before we scored. But yeah, it almost feels like we're not, especially at home. It feels like no one wants the responsibility of missing a chance. I can't portray it into words properly, but it almost feels like no one wants the responsibility of missing and then having to deal with the flack after if they pull it 5-10 yards wide. But yeah, I mean, Nico, is a well taken goal, wasn't it? He's used the conditions the best he can. He's absolutely pinged it straight back off a slick surface, and it's beat the goalkeeper. It all ends up at his near post.
Yeah, I mean, first man of the match award that Nico Williams has won, may I add to that. And I mean, really, second half, I thought we rode our luck in terms of what chance creation Villa had. Matt Sells had to be in terrific form, and it kind of helps that we've got two keepers that are in decent form, with Stefan Ortega playing so well in midweek and making some key saves. That Matt Selves has come up trumps today. I mean, like you mentioned, the one from Ollie Watkins, which was given offside, but if he'd scored, it would have been on. That's a great save from him personally. Makes himself big, but pulled off a good save from John McGinn. And then, I mean, later on, I think it's from Maatsen before Rogers blazes over the bar. But do you think we rode our luck? We didn't really go for it. I didn't think we had like half chances and kind of didn't really just didn't give it everything. I felt.
Yeah, well, I've wrote some notes down here, and I've put 3 chances down for both sides second half. So, the 3 for us was the header for Jesus at the back post, where he just never look set as if he was expecting the chance to come for a header. He then had the one where he was 1-on-1 with the defender, blasted it over. He's got to be making the keeper make a save at least there, hitting the target at least. And then the other one where he actually did really well to regain the ball. And then the little pass to Gibbs White just looked really poor. And it made Gibbs White look, effort was really poor as well. And Cash inadvertently nearly put it into his own net. I mean, that was going nowhere near the goal, wasn't it? So they were like 3 moments for us. And then, like you say, at the other end, the McGinn one, who I thought was the best player on the pitch personally today, he come onto that really nice. That's a really good save from Sells. And then the 2, what they've had where they should score both. I mean, the Rogers one's a sitter, an absolute sitter. I mean, the lad who sits behind me in Bridgeford Upper said it reminded him of the Haaland one. I think it was the first season back where he blazed one similar over from close range. Should have scored there. Sells actually, I didn't think, covered himself in glory really there. Was the one time where I thought he spilt that a bit. And then the other one is Ollie Watkins again. 1-on-1 centre of the goal, really. I think Milenkovic is coming across, but he's blazed that over as well. So, yeah, I'd say they probably had the clearer cut of the chances second half, and you can say we've got away with it in a sense, but it's not our fault that blasted them over the bar. So, for me, mate, I think, like I said earlier, Villa are a good team. The chasing Champions League for a reason. They're not going to. I know we've got a good record at home to them recently, but they're not going to come to us and be a complete pushover. So I think it's a good point today, and it'll be a very good point if we back that up with a win a week today against Burnley. Like I said on the pod a couple of pods ago, that Burnley game, I know you can't pick your games, but you're kind of looking at that Burnley game and earmarking, thinking that's got a home win. And if we can pick up at least a point against Villa like we did today, then we're looking good. So it's all on next Sunday tonight. Now you put yourselves in a good position with a point, because it's kept the gap at 3 points with Tottenham losing and their game's gone. And now it's like, well, can we build on it and beat a side who are going down at the end of the day? They're not going to, I know they're not relegated yet, but they're going down. And if you can't beat teams like Burnley with respect to home, who are 19th in the league, then I don't think you deserve to stay up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Alex, are you in agreement? Is it a good point gained today rather than 2 points dropped?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially because we had to ride our luck at times in that game, didn't we? Watkins missed one down at the Bridgeford end, and then Rogers had one as well. Like I was saying to you off air, it could have easily, it was sort of the same story as Thursday night. It could have easily have been 3-4-1, but it wasn't. Both games have ended 1-1. We bring Porto back here for, we're still well in the tie. And today we've picked up what I see as a good point against a good side. And I think at this stage of the season, you've got to value the points over performance. And today we've got +1 on Tottenham, who remain in the bottom 3.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 2 massive home games coming, obviously, now with that second leg against Porto in the quarter-final, and then Burnley, as you say, Reece, is every game's hard in the Premier League, but if you're going to pick one to play, you don't mind playing them. So it's a huge game coming up, and I'm kind of looking forward to it, but I'm also not, because it's just being at the wrong end of the pitch. But we're going to get on some of your comments and slept on it thoughts. We have lost Alex for a moment. He'll probably come back in a minute. But so just some comments. So Lewis Morris has said, take the point and move. In more important news, my lucky sunglasses have given up the host new ones on order. Tom Newton, in the second half, that shot from Igor was proper toss, especially at this level when he was in the centre of goal and could have gone left to right. Completely agree. and then just more conversation between the two of them. So thank you very much for joining us in the comments. Before I do go to Slept on It Thoughts from Facebook and Twitter, I'm just going to give a shout out to our sponsors. So we've got Trent Side Threads. Use our code RSOT for 10%. That's RSOTT for 10% at trentsidethreads.co.uk. Plenty of gear from them for Forest, all sorts of things to do with Jesus' celebration or Millerello being from Sao Paulo, Olaina drinking Ribena, that kind of vibe. And thank you very much for sponsoring the pod. And then Vesta Blinds, which are stylish, high quality, made to measure blinds and shutters at a great price. Give your home the perfect finishing touch with stunning, expertly fitted window coverings from Vesta Blinds. That's vestablinds.com. Thank you very much for sponsoring the pod. Here are your Slept on It thoughts.
Red side of the Trent. Slept on It thoughts.
Just the one from Facebook. Albert Ursi says, good point, but need the 3 against Burnley to really make it mean something. I completely agree with that. I think we all agree with that. Just a couple from Twitter. So Carl Booth, good point against a good Villa side who let us off the hook a few times today. Felt they had the better chances. Wish we'd have had a bit more confidence in front of goal to have a shot, but good result nonetheless. On to Thursday, you Reds. Tom Newton, really good point against a good Villa side. We're on a decent unbeaten run at the moment. Thought Forest got involved in a battle where they were second best. Sells was brilliant. Subs were strange as when Wood was introduced, as it took away the creativity Wood relies on regarding Munger's White and crosses. Gerard Miller, what a thunder! Yeah, I'm not gonna. I mean, you can fill in the experience of a strike like it was for Nico. Keeping us in function. The coaching merry-go-round has damaged the attack more than anything. Always easier for coaches to drill defence rather than attack. There are no clear patterns, no intricate moves to open defences, never enough bodies in the box. Set pieces awful. Crosses are hit and hope. And that is your lot. Not many comments today. I'm going to get into some player performances. Reece, I'll start with yourself. I'm going to give you Nico Williams, as he was man of the match, and I think he's deserving of some plaudits. I mean, he keeps winning player of the month, even if he plays about one game, to be honest. I think player of the season could probably be wrapped up now, really.
Yeah, he'll win player of the season, mate. I know we've debated it in our group, but he'll win player of the season. I'd put a substantial amount of money on that. Yeah, brilliant today. Definitely our man of the match, without a doubt. I think probably the only player who I'd say played to the level he knows he can today. There was one little scare, I think it was in the first half when he gave the ball away in a really bad area and they nearly got in from. But apart from that, I thought it was pretty flawless. Great strike for the goal. And he can hit him. He's always had a good strike on him. I still remember back to that. I always come back to this game, that Tottenham home game, the first season back in the Prem, where we had a couple in that game where he hit so well, but they just ended up the wrong side of the post. So, yeah, brilliant strike for the goal. And, yeah, he's always someone you can rely on that is going to be in 10 and give 110% for Forest. So, definitely deserving the man of the match today. And, yeah, I wouldn't have picked him for player of the month for the last 2 months, but he will win player of the season.
Yeah, definitely. Alex, I'm going to give you Matt Sells, who I thought kept us in it at times. I know Reece mentioned about that spillage to Morgan Rogers, but I think what he had to deal with, especially in the second half, that goal mouth looked treacherous. So I have to say, at the Bridgeford end, I thought he played really well. It's a nice headache for Vitor to have with him and Stefan Ortega playing quite well.
Yeah, I mean the one real good save that I can think about currently is the chance John McGinn had, where he's tried to bend it around him and he's got down full stretch and turned it away. Like Reece said, he didn't cover himself in glory for Rodgers' chance, but at the end of the day, it's not gone in, has it? So he's made the save, and Rodgers put the ball over the bar. I thought distribution was more on the poor side today, especially compared to Ortega. But I don't think there's a great deal between Ortega and Sells currently, which is it's a great problem to have after we've had backup goalkeepers that you've looked at Miguel, Victor, Turner that haven't been up to par. You wouldn't be bothered about either of them starting. So yeah, I mean, Sells good today. I gave him an 8 on my Twitter player ratings. Like I say, did what he needed to. Had one sort of moment, but yeah, solid game. It's fine.
Would you expect Ortega to play Thursday, or do you think Sells might play and Ortega play against Burnley? I mean, that it lends itself to be quite a good debate there, really. I think because against Burnley, I think we want to be a bit more on the front foot. Maybe Ortega allows you to do that. I'm not sure because in Europe against Porto, I think he allowed us to beat the press quite a lot as well because they press quite high. So it's an interesting one, I think.
Yeah, I hadn't really thought about it. I sort of expect Ortega to start on Thursday anyway. I think that competition's the one that Vitor's going to continue to play him in, and I probably do expect Sells to start on Sunday. I think he's going to stick with that while both are fit. I think Ortega's going to keep the game time in the Europa League, and then Sells is going to keep the Premier League games.
Fair enough. Reece, I'm not sure about who else to go with, so I'm going to allow you to go with whoever you like, to be honest, because I just feel like I'd be digging a player out when we've got a point and maybe like everyone's a bit below par. So if you wanted to pick anyone to go with, then feel free to do so.
Like I said, I don't think anyone was like really bad today, but I wouldn't say definitely aside from Nika, that anyone was, like I say, hitting the levels what they know they can do. So no, I'm not really going to pick anybody out. I think something I will mention, just last note I wrote, is that Villa were looking tired about, I think, 65, 70th minute, started to look quite leggy, and I thought this is kind of our moment. And then, I made the subs for them. And that's when I thought they got kind of back on top at the end. Maatsen down the left, really quick. He obviously brought Douglas Luiz on, who we all know is very good on the ball. Obviously, Tammy come up front. But yeah, it's been the story of the season, hasn't it, really? No one, I don't think, is playing at the level that we can do. We're always debating about like the wingers in our group chat, like today. Hudson-Odoi's got an assist, but I wouldn't say he was very good again. Hutchinson, he had that brilliant mazy run in the first half, but then every other time he either got the ball taken off him far too easy or just didn't want to put a foot in. And, we all said probably Ndoi deserved a chance after the Fulham goal, which got disallowed. And then he played in midweek at Porto and he was a bit very, very hit and miss. And so I wouldn't mind have seen Backward given a chance there on that right. But again, we've not seen much of him in the Premier League. I still think Vitor is a bit untrusting in the Premier League of certain players because there is a few we've not really seen, have we? So this season is about, in the Premier League, just getting over that line, however we get it. The Europa League, I think we've got to a stage now where, it's become a bit of a bonus kind of thing, really. I mean, I want to stay in the Europa League, of course I do, and I want to carry on. But you probably look at it now and think, let's say if we went out to Porto on Thursday, which I hope we don't, you kind of think, well, at least we've gone out to a side who are quite reputable. Even if we get to the semi-finals, it's probably going to be, it's going to be Aston Villa. I'll put a bet on that as well. You're thinking, well, they're going to be favourites for that game. So, I mean, I think Vitor even said in his pre-match that the Premier League is still that priority, isn't it? So, yeah, I've not got really anything to say on another personal player performance today. I just don't think across the season players have hit the straps as much as they can do, hence why we're in the position that we are. And with how bad it's been off the pitch this season, like I think Capenosity put in the slept on it for, you're just not seeing players really settled, and we're chopping and changing kind of at times, aren't we, to try and get a tune. It's just not happened all season, really.
Yeah, I mean, do you think Vitor Pereira was hesitant to make substitutions today because he's got Thursday in mind, similar to what he did on Thursday, where it wasn't much change side? So has he got that in mind of playing the likes of McAtee, Backward and Ndoi in that game rather than bringing him on today and risking anything else? It was it was also a tight game as well today. It was quite difficult to make a change. But then again, I thought Backward or Ndoi should have come on much earlier because Matty Cash got a yellow card and Hudson-Odoi didn't try and go past him barely at any point to try and make him commit.
Well, that's what I mean. I just think he's a bit wary of introducing certain players into games because it's like are we going to bring them on and are they going to be ready for the pace of the game, pace of the Premier League? It's all right playing them in Europe because the pace is slower in Europe. It's not got that intensity of the Premier League. That's why, you saw us for a period at Real Betis when we ran all over them and they couldn't get near us. There's been certain periods in Europe when we've gone through the gears and we've just battered like Ferencváros. We put 4 past with ease. Malmo, we could have, if we'd have gone through the gears, we could have probably put 10 past them. So, yeah, I just think he's a bit unsure of chucking the likes of Bakwa, McAtee. Obviously, Luca's his hands have been washed. Tyler wasn't even on the bench yesterday after scoring last time. Jesus has been quite ineffective really in the Premier League at most of the time. So kind of says a lot about Tyro as well, unfortunately. And I just think on Thursday he'll think, right, this is where I can make changes because the pace and the intensity of the game. I know it's a big game because it's quarterfinal Europa League, but the pace and that intensity isn't the same level as the Premier League, and he'll be thinking in his mind as well. Like he says, the Premier League's a priority. So, if we do, it's like if we do go out of Europa League, I'm sure he won't be as bothered as it would be with us obviously competing for points in the Premier League. So it's a tough one for him. I just think he's just trying to get through with rotated sides in the Europa League. It worked at Midtjylland. It got us a point the other night with a rotated side. I think we probably made about 8 changes, didn't we? It'll be interesting to see what his team is on Thursday. Because I think you're going to obviously have to play some of the first team because of the lack of options in certain places. But it wouldn't surprise me, like if you got another game where you get 45 minutes of Milenkovic and 45 minutes of Murillo, for example, and Morato plays a 90. So it'll be an interesting team Thursday night.
Yeah, definitely. We'll talk about
that Burnley game in mind. That'll be in his mind as well.
Definitely. We'll talk more about the Porto game, Alex, because I think we've pretty much done everything. Unless there's anything else you want to say about this Villa game before we move on, Alex.
No, like I said earlier, you value the point over performance, and we picked up a point today. Tottenham haven't, and with Leeds playing tomorrow night, we could move up another place without even stepping foot onto a football pitch. So,
yeah.
So, good point, good team.
Makes it very, very tight at the bottom if Leeds lose more than by more than a goal then tomorrow. So, I mean, it's squeaky bum at both ends of the table, which is somewhat exciting. To say how much football is like on its arse a little bit, in my opinion. I don't. It's not as fun at the moment, I have to say, and I think you can tell in my voice about what I think about football. But we'll talk about the Porto game because that is exciting. It's exciting time. Quarter final at the City Ground under the lights on Thursday, Alex. Do you expect mega sale changes as well? And what are you expecting from Porto? They actually play tonight against Estoril at 8:30, so that's away from home as well. Which I don't know how far that is within Portugal. I've not done any Google Maps or anything. But
I was going to say Reece knows, doesn't he?
Reece will know. But that's quite a late kickoff, and then like them having to travel and everything else to come here. But I know they made wholesale changes on Thursday as well. So what's your opinion of it all?
Yeah, they've got the 2 number 9s missing, haven't they? In De Jong and Samu. I thought that Moffey squandered chances the other night that really, I'll be honest, they should have been out of sight, personally, in the tie by half time. Until Fernandes decided that he wanted to do us all a favour. But I don't expect. We're having this conversation in the car on the way home today. I really don't know what team to expect on Thursday. I'd expect a few changes, but I'd expect the likes of Anderson to play. I think Gibbs White will start. And I genuinely think at home, I think he'll go with a back 4. I think he'll go back to the back 4 with full-backs, meaning that Williams and Aina will probably play. But again, it's all speculation. I have no idea what to expect. It's just what I sort of think will happen. I think Wood may start again, keep building that match fitness for sort of the Premier League games, and then I think that Wood could potentially start on Sunday. I think that's what his plan's going to be. But yeah, other than that, I think McAtee will come back in. Hopefully, Bakwa comes back in. I didn't think he was that bad on Thursday night. He seemed to have gained a little bit of confidence from Thursday. You could see he was visibly quite annoyed that he had to come off. And if he wasn't going to play, for me, why was he brought off? But it must have been some form of tactical change in Vitor's head. But no, I think it's going to remain much the same, but maybe 3 or 4, possibly 4 changes.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, Reese, how's the research going?
It's just over a 3-hour drive, mate. It's just to the west of Lisbon, Estoril, who's captained by João Carvalho, who's having a great season.
Hopefully he'll do some favour by kicking a few of their players. So, I mean, same question to yourself, mate. I mean, what you expected on Thursday, because it could be changes like Alex said. It could be not a lot of changes as well. It might be a couple of players, but I do feel like, why are you still in it? We've got to go for it, haven't you? Because it's a nicely poised tie.
Of course, like I said in my previous comment, Vitor's going to have to kind of juggle it with that Burnley game in mind as well. I mean, I'm just jotting a team down here, but Ortega will start. I think that's a cert. So that'll be a change. The back, I agree with Alex. I think we'll go to a back 4. Now, the only 2 I'd say are certs to start. I think Morata will probably start. I know some fans will grimace at the thought of that. I think Nico will probably start. I think the other centre-back is probably going to be Milenkovic and Murillo, 45 minutes each. The right-back, now, would he risk Zach Abbott at right-back against Porto? I personally wouldn't. So you're looking at Aina, aren't you, there, really?
It looked like he was struggling like the last 20 minutes of today.
Yeah, but he's just got a weird engine, hasn't he, Aina? He just looks, one minute he looks the F word, and then next minute is, I mean, like that sprint when he went past Luca Dini, he went past him with ease, you know what I mean? And then the next minute, it just looks absolutely shattered. So, yes, I guess it's a shame that Nets isn't in the squad and Savona's not fit, because they're your 2 wing-back covers, and we can't use, your 2 full-back covers, we can't use any of them. Centre mids, I put nobody down because you could easily bring Yates and Dominguez in, but I wouldn't want to play with that midfield at home on the front foot against Porto, because I just don't think there's enough attacking ambition in that. So I'd probably play one of them with either Sangari or Anderson. I mean, Bakker and Doy will probably come in on the wings. You know, the number 10 position, again, is up for grabs because you could easily play Gibbs White and James McAtee as well. And then I do think Chris Wood will start up front because Jesus played most of the game, didn't he, today? So, but yeah, it'll be an interesting team. Like Alex said, I think there's going to be probably a bit of a mix, you know, half a dozen changes, I'd imagine, because we want to go through, don't we? It's a quarterfinal European competition. I know, you know, we're struggling at the wrong end of the league, but this campaign in Europe has been, as we've seen by those ourselves and those who've been to Porto on Thursday, it was an immense trip, just an immense place to be, you know, being down by the riverside and the city we were in and how beautiful it was. And then again, like Alex says, you go to the Dragao, 50,000, it's a proper stadium, a proper European night. And these are the nights we've all dreamt of. So beating Porto at home in the quarterfinals of a European competition is a night we all, last season, why we all got on the hype so much of getting into Europe. These are the nights we want. So I'm hoping we can do it. It's just a shame that if we do get through, we're going to more than likely set up an all-English tie with Aston Villa. But yeah, so it's a bit of a come down going from Porto to Birmingham. And it is from them going to Bologna to Nottingham, annoyingly.
I mean, I'm just looking at their team that they've put out, and they've rotated heavily again. So, like the likes of Thiago Silva is now on the bench with Borja Sainz. I know Moffy's on the bench. Seko Fofana's on the bench. And then they've started the likes of that Froholt who came on against us, Varela. Gabri Vegas started.
Yeah.
So they've rotated as well.
That's their league team, mate.
They're in a similar position to us.
I was speaking to a couple of Porto fans on Twitter that said he rotated because they want to win their first title in like 6 years, 5-6 years. There were 7 points clear at the top. It's now 2. So I think Farioli's also seeing this as not an inconvenience, but he's heavily rotated, and like I say, he's without his two main number nines, so he's having to make do. But again, he's got to put that team out at the City Ground as well, and we
Yeah.
are 4 games away from winning a major European trophy. We, as a club, can we really afford to sack this off now? Not for me.
No.
I think they're in the same situation as us. They're going for, you know, in 2 competitions. I know they're in the Premier League and are looking at, you know, at the other end of the pitch, but they're still going in for 2 competitions. So he'll also have to juggle his squad as well and think, well, what's best to do to get me across the line in both competitions, because they are top of the league, so they'll be favourites at the minute for the league in Portugal. They're not for the Europa League. So I think if you asked him in a private room, what would you rather win? Would you rather get the title back in Portugal ahead of Benfica and Sporting, or would the priority be the Europa League? I think he'd probably say the league, as would most managers. But he'll put out a team like Vitor will, with a bit of rotation, where he'll think, well, that should be enough to get us over the line. So Sporting's won the last 2 titles, and then Benfica the season before, and then Porto won it in 21-22. So
All
3
right.
seasons.
Yeah. I mean, I'm intrigued like you guys. I'd like to see the likes of McAtee and Backward play on Thursday. I thought they were good on Thursday night against Porto as well. I thought McAtee picked up some really nice positions and used the ball really well. So I feel like they're gaining their confidence back ever so slowly. So I'm eager to win on Thursday. I don't see why not, and I still don't see why we couldn't win then and win on Sunday against Burnley, which is a major game, and we'll talk about that later in the week when we review the Porto game. Hopefully, coming out victorious. I just want to avoid extra time and penalties, because it's just that'll be an inconvenience to our squad, and with the lack of depth, especially at fullback, this is where I'm a bit unsure whether he'll play a 3 again or he will play Nico and Ola in a 4. But I think if you're going to go for the game and try and win it within the 90 minutes, I feel like playing both of them is inevitable, really.
It's a shame Jai Kuna's not fit as well. I'm not sure when he's back, because he'd definitely be playing on Thursday. So that's another player. You know, so I think if Savona, Jai Kuna, and if Nets was in the squad, I think all of them 3 would probably play Thursday. And at the minute, we've got none of them. So it's just, in defence, your options are a bit limited.
Yeah, definitely. Score prediction, Reece, for Thursday?
Score prediction. 1-1, and we win on penalties.
Oh, bloody hell. Right, okay.
And I've said the last 2 games 1-1, and I've been right in both. So
fair enough. Alex?
I was going to say 1-1 and win on penalties.
You can. I mean, you can.
2-1 Forest. We'll get it done in 90. We'll concede first, I think, and then we'll battle our way back into it against a second string Porto side.
I'm going to go.
I'm
going 1-0 off someone's backside, hopefully, or something, some sort of scrappy, horrible goal. And that'll do me. I mean, as long as the ref is much better than the one on Thursday and today. I mean, we've not even spoke about the refs for the Villa game because they were awful. They were so bad, so inconsistent, so bad for both sides. But honestly, I mean, we complain about how bad they are in this league, and then on Thursday, I'm like, we're saying, "I'll get the foreigners in here." They're just as bad. Just as bad.
Like I said to you in the ground on Thursday, the Italian who would have been the ref on Thursday is not going to be Italy's top referee reffing in Europa League. They'll be in the Champions League. So when we say, get the ones from abroad in, we mean going to the big countries and handpicking the best ref from that country, because the Premier League can pay them more than any other league. You know, it's not just, we'll take a handful from one country, but that's another discussion for another day.
Yeah, absolutely. But looking forward to Thursday. Also looking forward to next Sunday. I mean, it's all happening, isn't it? It's never boring in this with our football club. I just wish we were like Fulham in mid-table, just chilling. But we're not. We're Nottingham Forest, and we never do anything smooth sailing, unfortunately. But is anything else to add, Alex? Yeah. Who do you fancy for the golf? I can see you watching it intently as we do this pod.
My answer before a ball was hit today was Shane Lowry. However, He's bogeyed the first, and he's gone back to 8 under. So I'm
Don't tell me
gonna
Rory's
say
going to win.
no. I'm gonna say Cam Young, but Scheffler's 2 under through 3, so he's continued good work from yesterday, where he finished 7 under. So he's 9 under and tied 4th, so he's in with a massive chance. World number 1.
Anything else to add though for Forest? Anything you want to say?
No, like I say, just value the point today over anything else. Takes us 1 extra point clear, 1 game down. Tottenham lost again. Big one next Sunday.
Definitely. Reece, anything to add?
Yeah, I think I put it in the chat earlier, didn't I? So obviously Leeds play tomorrow night, which is at United away, which is their kind of big game for them, isn't it? But you'd expect United really to win that, but we shall see. I mean, next week Spurs and Leeds play before us on the Saturday. We play on the Sunday and West Ham play on the Monday. So, interesting, but we'll see. We'll kind of. I mean, it'd be great if Brighton could beat Tottenham, wouldn't it? And then we go out and beat Burnley. It'd be a 6-point gap then, and then you're looking up then. But I'm going to end with a football question because I've just seen it to you both. So, when was the last time the league in Portugal was won by someone else apart from Sporting, Benfica, or Porto? And who was the team?
I ain't got a foggiest. I mean, my educated guess is because they've got into Europe before. Would be like, did we buy Josh Da Silva from Gil Vicente or someone like that?
No,
Vittoria, sorry.
Yeah.
It's not them.
No, it's not them.
I mean, there is a Gil Vicente in there though. Oh, right. But
yeah, there is. That's where West Ham signed that Pablo from, I believe.
I mean, it's not like, I mean, I'm just looking at the league just to look at teams. It's not Braga, is it?
It's not Braga, no.
They're the other team I'd think that could win it. I mean, there must be a team that's...
Alex?
I don't know. I can't get Boa Vista out, man.
Is correct.
All right.
Hey.
What league are
Any
they?
ideas?
2007.
Oh, no, 2001. 2000 to 2001 season.
To be fair, I should have known that because I do remember vaguely them being in the Champions League, to be honest.
That's exactly my thought. There was something about them in Europe.
They won the league by
I remember seeing highlights of some sort.
Well, I've got a question to ask you both as well, because you've both been to every single European away game.
The bottom of the league, Boa Vista now the top flight.
Right.
I've read something the other day that they're under real pressure for not existing soon.
Oh dear.
They're in a bit of trouble, I believe.
Blimey. I've got a question for you both, because you've done every single European journey, and if it was to end on Thursday, or the fact that we go and play Villa, if they're to go through as well, which I think they will do, but and us go through, how would you rank each European away trips? Start with yourself, Alex. Utrecht's being number 1, obviously, for you, for reasons we can't tell.
Know what you're doing for the football or personal?
I'm gonna. Oh God.
Either.
I'm gonna caveat. I'll go Amsterdam/Utrecht, Porto, Seville, Turkey, mainly for the result. But yeah, what are the other two?
Graz
and
Midtjylland.
I didn't do. Oh God, no. It's hard between Midtjylland and Turkey. I didn't do Graz, but Braga would be rock bottom by a considerable margin.
Is that to do with the weather by any chance?
1 weather, 2 result. Yeah.
Fair. Reece, what about yourself?
Yeah, really good.
I'm just writing them down. I'm trying to think of the one I've missed out. Oh, Porto. Oof. Yeah.
How can you forget?
Jesus.
Yeah, it's a rough question.
Braga would definitely be at the bottom. Then Graz, because that was then Betis, because Betis was amazing, but it was more of an in and out job. Yeah. So I didn't really get to see a lot of Seville. because obviously everyone was piling in to book the flights. Oof, I mean, then I'd probably say, it's tough. Probably then next, probably be Porto, because I'm trying to bring the result into consideration as well.
Yeah.
Then probably Istanbul. And then it's a toss up between Herning and Utrecht, because them two places as well. I spent time there. Like with Herning, I went to Copenhagen for the day and the evening. Utrecht I stayed in. I went to other grounds and that. So it'd be tough, probably between them two. But they've been, all of them have been different and various, and they've been great in their own way.
Yeah. Well,
I think
Porto's number one for me.
I think that Graz and Braga are definitely the bottom two, because of, like, with Graz, the game wasn't very good, and Braga, the game was crap, and it was obviously raining.
Yeah.
So,
Fair.
yeah.
I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed Porto. I enjoyed seeing lots of familiar faces. I was extremely lucky to get a ticket through Matt Mitchell, who helped me out through Twitter. And then obviously I've met him out there and seen loads of people, and it was an absolute fabulous experience, and spending it most of the time with both of you and Cam and several other people that we saw. And obviously we got to go to Braga and met some fans there and have a chat with some Braga fans. We'd have the heart to tell them that they're crap, but they'll probably say the same about us because they beat us. So, but no, it was an absolute it was an absolute marvelous trip. Like, I absolutely was in awe of it. Like, I'd definitely go back for a holiday at some point. I'm sure, maybe in different places to Portugal as well. It's a lovely, lovely country. So, thank you very much for your hospitality, Portugal. We'll be back. But yeah, we'll finish it there, guys. I think good point. Hopefully, we're celebrating a win on Thursday, followed by that Sunday. But we'll be back Friday, I'm sure, to do a pod following Thursday night. Thank you very much for everyone that's joined us in the chat, and here 123 people. So if you do drop a like and a subscribe, it does help. We run all over social media. That's Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and all that good stuff. But enjoy the rest of your Sunday evenings before returning, unfortunately, all to work to tomorrow, and we'll see you next time. Come on, you Reds.